Live. Welcome to the Hot Pole Position. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about music tech news and guitar-y and computer-y things. And it's been a strange couple of weeks. In fact, it feels like it was only yesterday that we did the last podcast. This working from home thing, days tend to lose all meaning. Bizarre, isn't it? Anyway, I am your host, Adam Steele, and this is Liam Wright, as ever.
Hello. It froze then for like 20 seconds for me.
Oh, weird. I'm getting the usual YouTube warning that I always get at the very start of the stream, but we'll see. If anybody in chat sees anything weird, do feel free to let us know, but as long as everything's okay for everybody. You might hear in the background that my daughter Ivy is screaming her head off because she's nearly 2 and is teething, and that's fun. Yeah, it's been a strange day where she's been very happy and giggly, and then 3, 2, 1, ah! But yeah, she's going to be a proper nerd. I was literally holding her back earlier from smacking my keyboard because she was trying to program all the things, and then a picture of an owl came up and she was going, owl, owl. So yeah, it's been one of those kind of days. In the meantime, I've been looking after her all day, but instead of finding news articles for the podcast, which I have now done, I've been playing MapleStory because I've found that MapleStory is now something you can get on your phone. I played MapleStory before it was cool about 15 years ago. At first, it surprised me that it was still going, but then I realised that, something like that as a mobile app with a shop, that's got to be lucrative.
Indeed.
Yes. So, there's been many a thing given away for free this week. That's something that's definitely happening. And I kind of wish I had time to look at all of these and do videos about all of them, but there just aren't enough hours in the day, man. Yeah, I'm now, I would say 7/8 of the way through editing 5 different videos because I've been pulling all the audio together for these, for the sections where here's an audio example of this. And because I was really busy in the time when I was filming it, I didn't put them together at the time, so I've been looking through all the old footage going, is that this? Is that this file? Is that this file? Oh, this is that file. And it really should have struck while the iron was hot, but that's what happens in a once-in-a-lifetime situation like this. It's not something you can plan for.
No.
Well, you can try your best, you can put plans in place, but
like it's showcasing to a lot of people how you need to prepare for situations essentially like this in reality. Like not necessarily on a global scale, but even on a personal scale, things like this can happen. This is just happening to everyone all at once, which makes it feel dramatic. It is very dramatic. Lots of things that are happening, but understanding that you need to prepare and save for any eventuality. I think we'll come back to a much more conscientious world. A much more digital world as well, which is always good for this.
Yes, like us. Definitely. I wasn't aware of Zoom until last week and this week.
Oh, really?
Not being a kind of typical office guy, if you know what I mean. And it's not something that, it's a conferencing software. If someone had told me at any point, you need this, I would have been like, yeah, okay, cool, click. But yeah, it's really impressive. The Canadian comedy troupe that I watch, Loading Ready Run, they're all staying at home. But every 4th Saturday, they do this live variety show. And there were 10 or 11 of them on this video conference, and I was really quite impressed with how well it was holding up. It had them all on a very high quality stream, and it was all running at nice, smooth 30 frames a second, which I've really never seen on a conferencing software before on more than about 3 people. Always just kind of chugs. So yeah, that's what I was impressed with. Not just the fact that, hey, it's video conferencing software. It's like, yeah, we've had that for about 20 years, but the fact that it was just so smooth. It was very impressive.
Yeah, it's all right.
Hello to everybody in chat, by the way. If you've got any questions, do feel free to fire them in. Hello, Anna. I think we're both doing all right. I've been very, very snotty and sniffly all week, but I seem to be through that, which is, I think, completely unrelated to the headlines. But as it happens, being in complete isolation means that there's not really anything else that I can catch at the moment.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's going to be odd when everybody goes back to work and suddenly everybody has a cold.
Yeah, be careful, because that's probably is what's going to happen, and we'll end up with a second run of it.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, let's try and keep it away from the.
Yes, let's try and keep the conversation light.
Into what we're here for, which is music.
Yes. And another off topic, Anna's asking what I'm drinking. As usual, I am drinking something vaguely alcoholic. Feel free, if you are of legal drinking age, to drink along with the podcast. I am drinking Captain Morgan spiced rum with lemonade and lilt. Which,
Lilt.
oh yeah, lilt and spiced rum, mate, seriously. Perfect combination. Yeah, lilt's got that slightly grapefruity thing, and you throw the spice in with the spice rum. Oh, yes.
Good stuff.
I mean, usually in places you get rum and ting is absolutely amazing, but...
Oh, yeah, you mentioned this the other week, actually, now I think about it. Yeah.
Ting is vaguely like lilt. They're not quite the same, but I prefer the sweetness of lilt, so there you go.
Fair enough.
What do I think about the Soundcraft MTK boards? It's a board, it's a mixing desk. Meh, it does what the rest of them do. MTK. Let's have a look. Soundcraft signature MTK. It's just another mixing desk by the look of it. A relatively middling to cheap one. I'd go with something digital over that, looking at it. I'm just going to pull that up. That is 2003's best mixing desk. That's got 8 mic preamps, EQ, no gate, no compression, no nothing. Almost no outputs on it. That's absolute bare bones. I don't care how good the channels are, I wouldn't use that. Not since the last 10 years, everything's gone digital, like the Behringer XRs and all that kind of stuff. Even Soundcraft have digital stuff that's in this price range. They have a built-in interface? No, they don't. They have, like, they can record the master outputs and they can send 2 inputs in. I wouldn't bother. I absolutely would not bother with that. So.
Say it like it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's nothing that I can think of on that was worth buying. And not just because Soundcraft are bad, because as a company they're not, but that product doesn't appeal to anybody. All inputs go to Pro Tools. Nah. Get yourself a decent 8-channel interface then. Because if all inputs go to Pro Tools, then I'm just going to reopen the closed tab there. 22 outputs to Pro Tools. Yeah, but none of them are going to be any good. Nope. On the 12 the MTK, yeah, so 14 in, 12 out. So it's not 22 outputs to Pro Tools, it's 14 to Pro Tools, unless you're looking at the big one, and the big one's still like, nah. It's a meh from me, boys. Reaper Blog Live just finished. Cool. Good stuff. Yep, do I use Linux? Sometimes. Not for music production, because all the plugins that I use are all either Windows or Mac OS X, so I go with Windows. Yeah, and I have the PreSonus something. What do you think of it? Don't know. I've not used every brand ever. Sorry to be a letdown, but I can't possibly tell you everything about every product. But I've not heard anyone say anything good about it. I mean, I've not heard anyone say anything bad about it either. but none of my music tech professional friends have gone out of their way to say anything about it. That's a little bit of a red flag for me. So, yeah. Audio box 22 VSL. Audio box. Audio box USB. Yeah, no. If nobody's recommending it to me, then I am hesitant. I'm thinking, well, why?
What are you doing allowing questions at this point anyway? I mean,
Good
not to be
point.
one the bearer of organization. I'm not the most organized, but what's all this?
You've got
Where's the news?
The news.
I'm waiting for the news, mate. It's the only reason I come here.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the news. Yes, good point. My head's been a bit backwards today with all the child shouting that has been going on. And because I've been doing live streams pretty much every other day. And the thing that's really been sending me insane with those is that the setup has had to be completely different every time, which has sent me absolutely loopy. The first one that I did, the Minutes to Recover one, that old mix was at 96 kilohertz, which was great, but OBS doesn't do 96 kilohertz.
Right.
So I had to find a way around that. Then when I got through that, then it was onto metal, which was at 44.1K. So I put everything back to kind of normal. And then so then everything worked. But then the next one was a metal one with a song that Chris sent over, which then Chris wanted to be on the stream, so I had to set things up so that Chris was on the stream, and he could hear the stream and he could hear me, but he couldn't hear his own voice, but the stream could hear everything. Oh, so yeah, doing all these live streams has been really quite rewarding, and it's been quite good.
Why would you want to hear your own voice?
No, he wanted to hear my voice, sorry.
Oh, right.
But he didn't want to hear a loop back of his own voice. Sorry, did I say that backwards?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. No, sorry, he wanted to hear what I was saying so we could have a conversation. But through Discord rather than through the stream, which would have a latency on it, which would make a conversation difficult. Yeah. So, yeah, that was fun.
So you just send Reaper out through another channel into Voicemeeter and then send that into Discord.
Yeah.
Along with your mic. Yeah.
Yeah, but then not send the mic through to through that same channel so that OBS could pick that up.
Right. Yeah.
And then
so use both of the. Oh yes. How did you do that?
So there's two virtual outputs on Voicemeeter.
Oh, and you can set them separately. I thought
yes.
It was only...
You can send different sends. Yeah. And then there's
two outputs, but I didn't know how you
separate them. Right. Well, there's A1, 2, and 3, and B1 and B2.
Yeah.
So you B1 and B2 are your virtual ones, and you click under each source whether it's going to that source, whether it's going to that output. So my voice was going to, I think, B2, let's say, was on for Discord.
But then on Discord, I can only set either the virtual or
the aux one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the aux one is B2 and the virtual one is B1.
Yeah, so that's two outputs. Don't you need three?
No.
You only needed two. Okay.
Needed. Yeah, because A1 was the hardware output going to my ears.
Right. Okay, you might have solved my Voicemeeter problem. I will test it after the stream.
Right. Well, funnily enough, if that hadn't worked for me, the next stage for me would have been to use Voicemeeter Potato. Seriously, that's out now. That's a thing.
Yeah, I know it is. It just still sounds funny.
Yeah. So if banana doesn't work, try potato.
Potato's better than bananas, confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah. So, uh,
Or given that you were doing collaboration, maybe you could have used Tim Exile's Endless.
yes. So with the
Segue.
news, back to the news. Lovely, well done. So Tim Exile's Endless. Maybe I should, but I don't know who Tim Exile is. Is that bad? Am I a bad music tech person? Somebody in chat tell me if I should know who this Tim Exile is. Anybody? No? Okay.
I don't know who I am.
You're Liam Exile.
Most likely Tim
We're
Exile.
we're all in exile.
Performance-led musician and technologist. IDM. Spanning drum and bass, IDM, breakcore, and gabba.
Gabba, wow.
Yeah, you know his hit song "Family Galaxy" and that other one a little bit more. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tim Exile. Totally don't have Google up. I actually don't. I had Bing up.
Got to say, IDM was never really a genre that I personally got into. A lot of the music techies that I studied with were really into IDM. People like Square Pusher and the obvious Aphex Twin. But I just didn't get it. There are going to be genres that people just don't get, you know. But yeah, good for him if he's doing well. And more importantly, the perfect timing for this is this app that's come out. And yeah, apparently you send sections over to a person, they get them, they can then add sections on. It's not zero latency, it's not instant updating, but it's a collaboration platform where you can send a section of something to somebody and they can add on and add on and add on, and it's not time limited or anything, which is why it's called Endless.
All right, cool.
So you can make some 98-minute IDM track basically by getting a drum pad and then letting Ivy have a go on it for a while. Howl. Yeah, that's pretty much what Ivy would come up with. But you know, inspiration can come from the strangest places.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. Kickstarter is gonna happen. Aimed at establishing an expanded social network and more pro features. So I'm imagining that for now it's reached a point in its development cycle where if they want to expand on it, they're going to need more staff. Mm-hmm. So with it being free, I think it's free. Pretty sure it's free. Then let's have a look just at the bottom. Yeah, no, it doesn't say there's a cost for it anywhere. Come on, words, I can say them. And yeah, launch party for the app is streaming on the Bands in Town Twitch channel. It says right now, but I would imagine that since this news article is 2 days old, unless there's some seriously hardcore people still going with the launch party.
And even if it is, don't change the channel.
Yes. Bands in Town, anyway. Bands in Town do stuff and things. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that this has already been in development. Not that this was developed for the situation we're in, but that it's kind of fortunate timing, really, because there aren't many proper collaboration tools out there right now for music techies. There are collaboration tools that kind of work, but they're a bit janky. There's Ninjam, which is kind of based on the number of bars that it can share. There's actually a plugin in Reaper for Ninjam. Which is Ninjam, tasty Ninjam, but you can't see it. And yeah, so there are options out there, but the fact that this has come out and looks relatively simple to use, very good timing indeed. It's funny, most of the news this week, spoilers, most of the news this week is going to be stuff that's coming out either for free or for very cheap. But that could make this very much worth watching for a lot of you guys, actually. If you've not been keeping pace with what's happened in the last week or two, then there's a lot to be keeping you busy. Yes. Universal Audio says it's launching its free Luna DAW, which we've talked about before, which was we saw them demoing it at NAMM, which we didn't think would be out until at least, I think they said September. They've really brought it forward, so it's going to be out, I think they said, in about 2 weeks.
All right.
Yeah, and there was a bit of a miscommunication in one of the news articles that I saw that said it'd be free for everybody, which, whilst that's technically true, it was, available to anybody, but only works if you have Universal Audio hardware. So
it doesn't work at all. Like, it won't turn on.
No, yeah, it's if it can't detect UA hardware, it won't run.
Right.
So
but it is free.
Yeah, that's the miscommunication. It's free.
You can get the app. You can open it.
Yeah, exactly. You can download it, and you don't have to pay for it, but it won't work.
That's exactly the same as like DaVinci Resolve. You need a key for it. A dongle. One of these.
Does Resolve not just work without the dongle? Because it used to, unless you wanted like the studio version.
I don't know how to use the studio version.
Yeah, I mean the studio version's got stuff like the nice noise reduction and that kind of stuff.
Yes, which I use.
It's very, very nice. £1 fish. Okay, so yeah, Luna won't come with the big launch fanfare they were originally planning, but they hope it'll give those of us lucky enough to be able to record music the inspiration to create something great, or at least a welcome escape from the outside world. Yes. So
well, we weren't a big fan of it before. So.
No, we weren't. So, but if you've got a UA interface and that's your thing, then you can now use a DAW that you weren't using with hardware that you spent a lot of money on. So hey, let's see if
channels in it or something.
Well, it's got Neve sounding unison preamp DSP stuff. I don't think it's properly licensed. Might be.
Yeah, the logo's on the website.
Oh, right, yeah. Might be from, I don't know which Neve company it's licensed from. That's one of the complicated things. Is there's more than one Neve company these days.
There's two.
There's Rupert Neve Designs and there's AMS Neve.
Yeah.
And I don't know who holds what in terms of licenses and patents, and it's a confusing mess.
You can tell by the logo. No way, I can't find the Luna page.
Do you think
continue with ad blocker? Go away.
Do you think they've taken some of it down while they work on actual launch?
Don't know. I think it's just being weird.
I know they've got a nice Moog synth in there, which I can see in front of me, which is basically a mini Moog Model D. That looks very nice.
Yeah, it's not on their website.
No.
That's weird. Shit, I swear it was like the main thing on the website.
I remember you mentioning it before and it being actual Neve, but...
No, but I can't even find the Luna. Oh, there you go, Luna. There you go. Luna, yeah, Neve. So that's not AMS Neve, that's the modern Neve.
Right, that's Rupert Neve Designs. It's a kind of a thin R loopy thing with a dot in it.
Oh, right, no, maybe not then. Now I'm confused.
Oh, that's what I mean. It gets worse because like,
No, it is AMS Neve. Yes.
Right.
AMS.
Okay. Because that's the thing. Like, SE Electronics do their Rupert Neve microphones, which are not from Rupert Neve Designs, but they're still Neve. But that it gets so complicated.
Which is the Neve that we spoke to at NAMM?
AMS.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because AMS made some wonderful reverbs and delay units, and Neve are Neve. And at some point in the 80s, I think, they joined forces, and then it got even more complicated.
So they're the ones that have the registered trademark for the word Neve.
Ah.
Because it says built-in Neve are summing.
Mm.
So yeah, Struder, Moog, Neve, Apollo, all integrated. Anyway, it'll be
Yeah.
interesting. I'd be interested to see how good it is. But
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how well it's picked up as well, and if anyone really runs with it and gets some good results out of it. Because I'm always interested in good results.
yeah, I mean, we had a conversation about all this, didn't we? In terms of it's kind of they're taking Pro Tools' marketing strategy from 1998 and applying it to now.
Yeah.
So next,
Next, from the Pro Tools strategy to the Logic strategy.
but we get into it with pros now.
It's like I've lined all these up with some sort of joining thread.
We're so pro at using these tools.
Pro. I need a stream deck so I can make horn noises and really annoy people.
I have a stream deck. I just need to get voice meter to work, which is what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, you need a potato.
I might need a potato actually. I'm gonna look up potatoes. So I just Google potato and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's all you need. Just Google the word potato and all your problems will be solved.
This is the paid one, isn't it?
Paid potato?
Oh, this is free as well.
Yeah, it's free. It's just more complex, which means it's slightly more CPU overhead. Got like 0.4% processor overhead instead of 0.3.
Cool. Carry on.
Downloading. So if your sound goes off in the middle of the stream, I know why.
Yeah, I won't install and set up while it's on.
Oh, be impressive if you could. But yes, use Apple Logic Pro X free for 90 days. So, yes, Apple are, as the headline says, offering free 90-day access to Logic Pro X. So if you don't already have it, and they're already offering the same deal to anyone who wants to use Final Cut Pro X, which is interesting. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. There we go. I have sneezed. Carry on. So yeah, if there was ever a time to drag people to the dark side in terms of Mac and Logic and Final Cut, now is the time.
Hello?
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 What? What have you done?
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Hello?
Hello?
Can everybody hear me on the stream? Because I can see my meters going. And
It was me. It turns out when you install a voice meter potato, it auto sets all your default settings to voice meter.
Oh yeah, well yeah, of course it does. Yeah, just
I didn't think it'd do that. I thought I'd have to then change it myself.
It's trying to be helpful. Helpful. Because programs that want to help, they always help, and it always does good things.
I currently only have you in the left ear. There we go. Okay, now I can hear you. There we go.
There we go. Both ears back to normal. Totally not going to install it in the middle of the stream, honest.
I didn't. It was just technical difficulty.
Yeah, he accidentally double-clicked on the icon.
So you're saying Apple Pro Logic?
Yeah, so Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro, both free for 3 months. So if ever there was a time to bring people over to the Apple editing workflow, they're seizing full advantage here, and also going, hey, free software.
But I mean, they won't get anyone because anyone that was using Reaper will now doesn't have to click the little box if they weren't paying for it. So
yeah,
for 90 days.
Well, you can do video editing in Reaper now, so yeah, who needs Final Cut? Yeah, genuinely, you can add video layers in. And you can do like transitions and you can automate brightness and all sorts of stuff.
Is it any good?
It's okay. I mean, it's no Final Cut.
Well, Final Cut's awful. What are you on about? I tried to use that the other week at Ross's house. It's the most awful piece of shit I've ever used. Jesus Christ. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's horrendous. It's really bad piece of software.
I've seen people who really know what they're doing with it do some kind of cool things with it, but it's just an unintuitive version of Premiere.
It's so basic, some stuff though, mate. Like color mats and things, like really difficult to. It's there's so many preset things that you can click a button and use them, but then like being able to change things and edit them and like actually create, like it's just really bad. It's like it's so backwards. You have to kind of try and find hacky workarounds for really basic things that if you
Mm,
want to make something on your own and not use like a preset. Can't remember off the top of my head now what it was, but I remember being like, okay, I'm going to give this a try. I'm sure it's fine. And I started asking him questions about, okay, how do you do this? And he's like, I don't know. Because he's quite basic in terms of editing.
yeah.
So I was trying to animate a little Instagram video, and it was just like moving layers around, really simple keyframing, nothing too invasive. And I managed to do it in the end, but it was just, and I thought it was just me. I don't know the buttons. I don't know where to look for stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm Googling things and I'm like, yeah, you actually can't do that. Like setting like default colors and things on things was just, yeah, not a fan at all. Not a fan. I was open to be swayed. I wasn't going into it like, oh, I bet this will be shit. And I just couldn't believe how bad it was compared to Premiere.
Mm.
That's my take anyway. So even if it is free, use what's it called? What's the one on the iPad? The Apple one.
iMovie.
Yeah, use iMovie over that. It's the same program.
Pretty much is.
It's so basic. Final Cut 10, like it was such a downgrade on where they were at. But I used to
Yeah.
use Final Cut all the time when I was younger. Like I learned to edit on Final Cut. But anyway, Logic's cool though.
Yeah, I mean, Logic's and it's kind of the same. It's kind of like GarageBand, but
Mm,
all the technical stuff is hidden a layer behind. That's what I
mm,
don't like about Logic. For people who are like songwriters, they all say, "Oh, it's really simple to use." I'm like, "Yeah, great. If it's simple to use and it gets you a half decent result, great." But to get from that half decent result to a completely finished result is 3 times the amount of work that it should be.
That's how I feel about Final Cut.
Yeah. I mean that's it in a nutshell for me with Logic and Final Cut is that yeah, if you want to do something that's kind of simple like plop 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 plop, yeah, it's probably quicker than the way that Premiere or Reaper are, but when you want to really get into the weeds and really go for professional, instead of it taking you a little bit longer because you know what you're doing, it takes so much longer to undo all the things that they assume that you want to do.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which is very much our way or the highway. No. I need something that looks terrifying but is so much more open to how I want to work. Hence Reaper and Premiere as well. There's only one thing now that irritates me about Premiere, and that's it. One thing. And that's that in the audio tracks, you can put plugins on all the audio channels now, which I
Hmm.
do quite a lot. You can't save presets. You can't save your own presets.
Mm. You can only use those, yeah.
Yeah, if like I've been editing 5 different videos this week in the same project, filmed on the same day, most of the core footage, and I want to do things like I've made one video and then I've done things like the de-essing and multiband compression and all that kind of stuff. I want to
Hmm.
save those as presets, then go to the other videos and just load that up. And I can't
Are you putting the audio effects on the channel or on the video?
on the channel.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
If you're
if
doing
it
it on
was
the
on the
video,
video,
you could.
yeah, then I can just copy paste, yeah.
Yeah.
But on the channel, it won't let me. Although
Mm.
now, you could do something that even a while ago you couldn't, which is you can actually move the plugin in the blocks, so you can move the order around now.
Hmm.
So slowly but surely, they're getting to Cubase 1.0. But yeah, if you could save
Mm.
presets, that would be my final gripe, no pun intended, with Premiere. And then I'd be happy forever. I mean,
Duplicate the sequence to begin with.
yeah, but you can only do that to begin with. I've already got all my footage in their own sequences at this point. And
Duplicate the sequence, then copy it from the other sequence into the new sequence.
maybe, but then any automation or volume levels or anything on any other channels that I already had has to go.
Ah, so you right? Why? Mm,
Because if I've got 5 different sequences and I've done some work on, say, sequence number 2 or sequence number 3, for me to get the settings from sequence number 1, you're suggesting that I make a whole new sequence by copying that. But then any work on 2 or 3 on the tracks has to go.
Doesn't the volume automation move with it?
On a clip, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can do a volume automation per track as well.
Don't.
No, well, yes.
There you go.
That's the conclusion that I've come to as well, but why do I have
Yeah.
to? You know,
Yeah.
why have they put these features in for me to use, but I can't use them because they won't
Yeah.
give me something simple?
So I've had, I can't remember what it was, a similar experience at some point because I never do channel wide stuff ever.
Mm.
Because I think I've had a similar experience. I do everything in clips and copy and paste. Even if it's audio effects, I'll copy them onto the clips, and then because then you can the delete and edit function for attributes of clips is quite easy, and you
Mm.
can add and remove it from all quite simply. So I tend to do that, which again is it still isn't ideal and isn't the way that it should be used.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel your pain there.
We've both had to use stupid workarounds in Premiere before. I mean, compared to other programs, it's kind of the lesser evil, but still, there are things that, you know, there's always something that I would like to see improved.
Mm.
As it
I'm
should
trying
be.
to move to Resolve full time.
How's that going for you?
Great, the program's amazing.
Oh,
I mean, obviously, the audio side of it is pretty much almost non-existent. No, it's got the whole. I haven't tried the audio side. It's got its own little audio thing now, which I haven't used.
right.
But yeah, DaVinci's amazing because I'm tired of having to do a round trip using EDLs and MXFs or whatever they're called to grade my footage and bring it back to Premiere. It'd be much easier if it was just in one place.
Yeah.
Because the ability to save color grades and like I did a video for a client the other day, and there was 4 different grades which I was able to just save 4 outputs, give them all screenshots, send them to them. They picked a grade, and then I just selected all the clips and selected grade 1. Boom! It's amazing.
Yeah. Nice.
Really good program. Anyway,
we never get off
talking about
topic.
really good programs.
Synth Master One, which is a really good iPad app, is now free for iOS. So yes, up on offer until the 15th. So you've got 2 weeks to go and get this. Synth Master One, I have played with before. It's usually a $20 app, which on iOS is like, you know, millions. And yeah, it's a really in-depth sequencer synthesizer. Does loads of kind of noises and other stuff that, if you can imagine a silly noise, it probably makes it. And so, yes, it is for iPad. I don't know if it does iPhone as well. It might do. It's an Audio Unit version 3 plugin, which means if you use something like Cubasis or Auria on your iPad, then you can use it as a plugin as well as just a separate app. I mean, we're getting to the point now where apps are just plug-inable, basically. So you don't have to run them all separately like you used to on iPad, which was really annoying. You used to have to run something, open it, use Audio Bus, patch it through. Really, really annoying. A lot of them now you can just in Cubase on, or even, Auria, or I think there's Ableton now on iPads. I need to catch up with the iPad stuff. But yeah, the iPad audio scene's come a long way. And you can just drop things in as plugins now, much like I would in something like Reaper, which is a huge deal for me because that's the way I like to work.
Talking about tech coming a long way in the audio world,
Mm.
So I installed the SonarWorks app on my phone.
Yeah.
What was my problem?
Yeah, what's your problem, Liam? What's your problem?
What was my problem, Adam?
You had to turn it off and on again?
I won't be able to hear you for a second, but I will. I'll show you my problem.
Oh, your headphones are on a jack.
I don't have a headphone jack on my phone.
You don't have a dongle.
Oh, probably. I don't know what that is, though. You throw that in a box somewhere when I got my phone.
Wait, one sec.
So, yeah, so I was...
Have I got one? Yep, there we go. Dongle. Never leave home without it.
So if I
Becau-
tried it on my PC, and I don't. The one that they said was the one that they've discontinued. The
oh yeah,
reference,
the
what it was
True
called,
Fi was it?
Truefy. Yeah, I didn't like it.
No.
Like for me, I listened to a lot of stuff, and eventually I was like, I'm going to listen to some Tool because Tool's got a lot of stuff going on, and the profile for these headphones just made everything sound really tinny to me. Like,
Hmm. But it didn't it go like option 1, option 2, so maybe go back and try some other options?
yeah, I did.
Oh right.
And it turns out that there is like I thought it was like different options, but I think that of these headphones, there are ones that have earpads and one that have leatherette ones. It's like there's two different products, or maybe generations or something. And I tried it for both of them, and yeah, it just sounded really like it just felt like it just pushed the mid up. It was just like a really basic EQ rather than being like modeled for my headphones. I can't say I was impressed.
Hmm.
Personally, I could try it on my phone with the new app because to be honest, I actually forgot that I had a dongle. 'Cause I use Bluetooth headphones on that. Actually, I don't use headphones on my phone. So yes, so I personally wasn't impressed with their old tech and can't try their new tech.
Oh,
So,
womp
but I'm
womp.
going to install this though because this looks like fun.
Yeah. I got the Moog one on my iPad. But yeah, Synth Master One is a lot more complex, and the presets, which it does have big buttons at the top for left and right for presets, will do a lot more than the Moog one. So you'll get really cool kind of sounds and all the rest. So yes, from that to something very similar, Roland make an app for iPad called Zen Beats, and that's always been free, but there was always a button in it to kind of unlock all the really cool features, which cost some money. $15. That's now free.
Oh,
So yeah, it's based on OpenLab StageLight software. Roland bought Stage Labs last year, and so it's got drum sounds from Roland's TR range, so like real 808s, 909s, all that kind of stuff. But the proper like licensed version, because it's Roland, they own it, so they, it's not like they're trying to get, hey, this sounds kind of like, they can go, yeah, well, yeah, we own the 808, we can just get one out of the drawer. So yeah, I thought it was really cool, and it gives you half a gigabyte of extra samples and 23 different instruments to use in their software, which is really cool, and I'll probably be checking that out if I get some time. Yeah, very
good
very
stuff.
cool. That's
And this is all
Android
related to just people being at home, so they're releasing stuff for free to give people stuff to do.
and to promote people being productive. Hey, check
Mhm.
it out! This guy's using an iPad, and what's that right there?
What I don't have.
Yeah, it's a dingle dongle.
Mhm.
So yeah, from that to Arturia, my friends in Arturia, the lovely French guys. I've got one of their drum pads which I need to use more. And they've got their iSpark iPad drum machine, which is free for a limited time and will trigger all their drum sounds and stuff on your iPad. So if you go and get that, it's free for the next month. And if you're on the PC like I am, then I've just got hold of their Pigments 2 synth, which is free from now till July, which is quite a long
Nice.
time for me to get to use it and get to know whether I should be sticking with it. I'm a big fan of their V collection, which is very vintagey synths and pianos and Hammond organs and lots and lots of cool stuff. But they make really new sounding stuff as well, which is where the iSpark and Pigments and stuff come in. There we go. There we go. Just trying to get a decent setup here. My back's been giving me grief this week. I've been carrying a screaming child around. And when a screaming...
learn to walk.
Well, she knows how to walk. She just doesn't want to go the way I want her to go. That's the bit that's difficult, is when you're wrestling a child that's like a baby bear that's trying to bite you and go the opposite way. It's just like, no, stay still. Ow. That's the fun bit. I mean, if she's cooperative, it's actually quite easy. She's pretty much learnt the word no now, and that's like, oh boy.
No.
Yeah. Although it comes out more like a douche. But yeah, she's thrown her drink twice today, which landed squarely on the top of my foot. Both times. The first time I went ow, and the second time I went. So yes. Yeah, get our Toria's ice spark because it looks really cool.
So
it does. So from that to something last week, I mentioned that Two Notes are giving away their Wall of Sound plugin for free at the moment, and now it comes with a link that you have to press to get the Beast Machine 1x15 folded horn
Beast
sub.
Machine.
The Beast Machine is a cab by me. So that that thing, yeah, we got it done really quick, and we got it up on the Two Notes store. So for now, that is being given out for free. So if you're a bass player who uses anything virtual, get hold of the Two Notes Wall of Sound. It won't cost you anything, and your license in your Two Notes account will have a Beast Machine.
Nice.
So yeah, you'll have some seriously beastie bass tones to work with. And then if you really like that, I make more stuff that's available on the Two Note store. So hey, maybe about here. If you haven't got any spare money, I completely understand. But if you do, hey, how about that? You know. So yeah, thought you might want to show you that. And
that's cool.
Yes. Last but not least, in terms of news, what day was it yesterday?
Wednesday.
It was Wednesday. And to celebrate the annual Wednesday, there were some rather hilarious videos.
So, right.
Yes.
Sorry, a little bit slow.
That's why it was the annual Wednesday. And that's what I'm hereby going to refer to it as, the annual Wednesday.
So this is a Wednesday, even next year when it's on a Thursday.
Yeah, the annual Wednesday. It's like New Year's Steve. So Reverb put out a video about people who lose their pick. Get yourself a giant pick. Which I went to NAMM and they had a giant pick. It was slightly bigger than this, so they must have revised it down since. But still, I mean, I've actually seen people like Rob Scallon, who's a massive guitar YouTuber, using a pick. I say pick, which, aside from April Fools, was about the size of your hand. It was a large stone with kind of a pointy end, and I have no idea how that works, but apparently it does. Apparently it's really good for like your hand posture and stuff, because you're not trying to hold on to something tiny if you've got this big like lump that goes in the middle of your hand. But yeah, I don't know how guitarists do that. But yeah, if you get one that's a 250mm pick, as they were saying, then yeah, that's not going missing. Marshall put a little video up on Instagram of this is their new foot switch. And it goes clean, crunch, overdrive 1, overdrive 2, chorus, delay, flanger, and so on and so on and so on. Their new 46-channel foot switch, which I thought was rather amusing, because I do have an old Marshall Valve State which has got what feels like one of these pedal boards. Because it's like 4 channels, then solo, then boost, then FX1, then FX2.
Lasers!
Yeah, more plectrums, mute bass player. Freebird, more talent. So yeah. But it literally looks like something that some guitarists I've played with would actually have on their pedal board. Behind about 7 metal zones and 3 DS1s. And finally, Ibanez did this for April Fools, which if you hadn't told me it was April Fools, I wouldn't have known, because Ibanez have made guitars in this colour before. Now, that is some serious pink. and it's actually got a unicorn up at the 12th fret. But yeah, I would genuinely have believed you if you.
That was their April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's like, why is that an April Fool's joke? You say like some people would buy that.
Yeah. There's a couple of YouTube channels that the guitarists actually
Okay.
use that color of guitar.
Yeah, and some people like unicorns. I mean, yeah, I don't think unicorns are that bad. Like, if you give me that, I don't know. If I had to buy an Ibanez and I had that one or a plain black one, I'd probably buy that one.
Yeah.
I like pink shit.
Make you stand out.
Yeah, I just like the color.
I might get that quote printed on a mug though. I like pink shit. Liam Wright 2020.
Yeah. My hair used to be pink.
Not like that.
It was pretty much that color.
Didn't you have a pink bit?
Yeah, like all my bits, like my whole fringe.
Yeah.
I wasn't an emo kid, honest.
To be fair, that's kind of common now for like whole hair, massive neon color. You were, you were way ahead of the curve there.
I wasn't. I was copying all the other idiots at the time.
Oh, and
there was a South Park character that looked exactly like me. That was apparently the sort of the stereotype of an emo kid, and I looked just like it.
Oh, was that the Guitar Hero episode?
Yeah, when everyone else was going on the South Park website and making their own character out of the parts, I could literally just pick that character and go, "There you go, that's me."
Wasn't ginger enough.
My hair was black at the time as well. I dyed it.
Yes. Now this one I thought was more funny because this is what Boss put up without any quote, no comment, no writing. This is their Blues Cube, which is a solid state amp, and it's got this in front of it, which has 4 tubes in it. Now I don't know if someone's misunderstood this, but at one point on the channel, Roland sent me a Blues Cube, and they sent me this. It's real. It exists. That's not been fabricated. I've actually had this in my hands. What it actually is each one of these valves is kind of like it's a USB device that's got all the settings on for a particular amp profile. So what you're supposed to do is you jam one in the back, and the amp then becomes that style of amp. I don't think it particularly caught on. It's a pretty cool idea for like non-techie guitarists who wanted a digital amp. But they only made, I think, 2 of these, maybe 3, because this was supposed to be for demo units. So you could literally turn it on and go, it's this model, turn it off, click, turn it on. But yeah, I think someone's trying to make a joke about, oh, valves in a solid state amp, oh, it's funny. And I'm like, yeah, I've had that. It's not an April Fool's joke. It's real. I've held it in my hand. I've held an April Fool's joke in my hand. And then last but not least for April Fool's, someone wrote a 4,000-word essay on the genius of one of the Spinal Tap guitar solos. The one where he actually scrapes an actual violin on the guitar. So yeah, that on Guitar World is this is all real. Somebody took the time to write this. I don't think you could convince me with enough time and money in the world to write this. I mean, this is going on and on and on and on. This is ridiculous. You could say this is quite Spinal Tap.
That's what I was about to say. That's kind of the joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's taking Spinal Tap as seriously as the film takes it, which is the joke.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's ridiculous.
That's very clever.
Yeah. And George Howlett, whoever George Howlett is, I doff my cap to you, sir, because that is an impressive amount of effort put in for an April Fool's gag. Which may actually be a serious article, and they may actually be quite serious about it, but we'll never know. So, that brings us to the end of the news. So,
there was one other bit of news. I'll say keep it lighthearted, but
go on.
What's his name? want to say that guy. I'm just terrible with names. Adam Shellsinger, the from Fountains of Wayne, passed
Oh,
away from.
yes.
He passed away from the virus this week.
Yeah, let's
So
just find that,
it's
because...
very sad. Will be missed. I think everyone at some point has enjoyed Stacey's mum, at the very least.
And also the song.
But yeah, I tip of a hat to the joke and the man in the band. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be other people,
Yeah.
and
Do
there
you
have
remember?
been already.
Do you remember the film That Thing You Do, which was the Tom Hanks film? It's
Mhm.
like 60s-ish. He wrote that song.
Mhm.
That song, That Thing You Do,
Mhm.
which is where he got the money to basically just make a band like Fountains of Wayne and not care if they were successful.
Mhm.
So yeah, fair play to him. He was quite a seasoned songwriter, I would say. So it's a real shame. Chuck Billy from Testament and half of the band Testament and their crew have been suffering from the virus. Thankfully, those guys are all recovering now.
Mhm.
Also got a couple more people in getting mentions in the chat whose names I'm not necessarily up on. Who's John Pizzarelli? There's a jazz guitarist, John Pizzarelli,
Right.
passed away as well.
Well, there's a couple of country singers in America.
Mm.
I'm seeing. And music wise, obviously, there's thousands of people all over the world, but given it's a music show,
Yeah. And
so
also Ellis Marsalis, jazz piano player. Yeah.
very sad, but be sorely missed, and
Mm.
yeah, just thoughts go out to the family really. So he was only 52 as well, and a lot of people
Mm.
younger than it's just old people and those with health conditions. So lots of people that people care about within that, and I'm sure this guy. It was strangely I found out through Chris Carab from Dashboard
All
on
right.
Facebook. They were really like best mates apparently.
Oh, well that sucks.
Yeah. So on from there. Do we have any questions
Looks
of
like we've
the
got
news
quite a
system?
few. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. SSL Fusion. I've heard a few things about SSL Fusion. Can you explain to me about the SSL Fusion hardware? Let's pull this up. SSL Fusion hardware. It's just kind of like a master bus processor. It's like a not like a channel strip type thing. It is just like a group processor. So it's got a bit of an option of kind of a SSL drive. It's got a violet EQ, which sounds like kind of a Baxen doll. So it's very gentle passive EQ. High frequency compressor, stereo image. Yeah, it's just kind of like a master bus sweetener type thing. I don't know if I'd use one myself. But if someone shows me a demo of it that sounds really good, I might think twice about that. But the mixes I've been getting recently, and I've got to say that people have been hearing them on stream, I don't really think that we're getting to the point where we need stuff like this so much anymore. Plus, if we're gonna go for like, this is almost like a mastering thing. And if I was gonna go for that, then I may as well go for summing mixing, which is something that hopefully we're going to be doing a video about with the ladies and gentlemen at AMS Neve very soon. I've been talking to those guys. Not completely confirmed, but it looks like it's going to be happening, where we're going to do a full 16-channel summing mixer from Neve, the 8816, which has the sound of their 88R desk. And so, yeah, it
Yeah, we
looks pretty
were.
cool.
I suppose, given that it's not going to happen anytime soon, now our plan was to actually go down to the factory,
Yes.
and bring our BBC preamps, which we believe may have some Neve architecture in there that we have, and take it to some of the techs and do a video on them, analyzing this our old vintage hardware, and get some cool content there. But obviously, we are unable to leave the house at the
Yes.
moment, so we definitely aren't able to go to a factory.
Mm.
And do that sort of thing. So we're working on some other types of content that we can do with them for now until things things change.
Yeah, and things definitely will change eventually. It's just one of those things where we've just got to wait this whole thing out. But the Neve factory is very close to my house, as it
It is
turns out.
indeed.
We meet them halfway around the world to go, you're based there?
Yeah, just down the road.
Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. So, yeah, we're going to be taking a very short trip to go and see them.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, the details of that will be forthcoming as and when we work everything out.
Hmm.
So, let's have a look. Oh, here was a really good question, which I'm going to leave till last from Andrew Jarrell, if you can see that one. I'm going to leave that one to be our closing question because that's very good. Question from Gudmunda Thor Carlson. That's a great name, sir. Well done. Do you guys like bacon? I love bacon. Smoky bacon, streaky bacon, back bacon, bacon. Yes.
I don't eat red meat, so I used to enjoy bacon. It was all right. I never quite got the hype behind bacon. The smell of bacon for me was better than the taste of bacon. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I now don't eat red meat, so not anymore. Although I suppose it change whether I like it, does it? I do like bacon. I just don't eat it.
Mm. Yes, I like bacon very much, although it's an
Yeah,
occasional treat for me because it is very salty and very bad for me.
yeah, you're all about the bacon.
I eat it a lot less than you might think, but then I live with a vegetarian and a child who eats whatever is cooked, which generally is cooked by a vegetarian. So,
Hmm.
yes. For me, a lot of things taste better with bacon. So, yes. Question from Sam Humphreys, who I'm guessing missed the very start of the stream. Got a nice cold drink this evening. Yes, I was drinking Captain Morgan's and Lilt with a little lemonade. Have you tried replacing the 12AX7 tube in an Audience Sono? And if so, what were the results? So I'll just pull my camera up. So I'm using the Audience Sono right now. There it is. And the honest answer is no, I have not changed the 12AX7 in there, and I do not intend to. Unless it becomes faulty. Because it's a closed unit for a start. It's not something where it's not like a vintage Marshall amp where you can just like pop things out and pop things back in. And it's obvious to me that at some point someone at Audient has spent some time speccing out the right valve for their unit and has made sure they're in there, tested them, and it works and sounds exactly as it should. So for me, I don't see a reason to go and change it. Plus, I wouldn't be driving the valve very hard anyway. And as long as preamp valves are run within specification, arguably they should all sound identical within specification because that's what they were designed for. A lot of preamp valves do apparently according to some, sound subtly different when you really, really drive them, which is when you really drive a valve, that's way beyond what they were originally designed for. It's funny that guitar amps use valves completely outside of what the book says they were designed for.
Hmm.
That's always been really funny to me.
Well, that's the whole concept of distortion, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but like since about
Oh,
1965-ish, guitar amps have been designed.
when Marty McFly discovered it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen to this. Yeah, I mean it's funny that since those early Fender amps, which were really quite clean unless you drove them beyond specifications, guitar amp manufacturers have designed them to be more and more and more and more distorted, which is exactly not what the valve manufacturers intended, which I always thought was quite funny. But in a single valve design, it's never going to be pushed particularly hard. You're really going to be looking at using pedals to get more distortion out of this thing, which means you're not going to be using the sound, quote unquote, of the valve particularly. And I'm using the valve right now on vocals, and I definitely have no need to change it out because it sounds great. And if it sounds great, why change things? That's in this context. That's my opinion. Marty V was asking what about that Rode NT USB Mini, because there was one up on an advertisement on the side of one of the articles. I have not used one. I generally stay away from all-in-one microphones that have got a USB in, because the USB entire circuitry has to be right next to the capsule and that kind of thing. And if it's powered by USB, it's going to be low voltage. If it's low voltage, it's probably not going to be very good. It might be okay, but it's never going to win any awards because of the design. The entire thing of the power source and the interface and the mic preamp being right next to the capsule, all that kind of stuff, it just doesn't make for a very good environment. And that's not Rode's fault. And like I say, I've not tried one, and if it is very, very low noise and really good headphone amp, I'll be absolutely blown away, because generally those kind of mics have something like a 30 or 40 dB noise floor because of the design. Whereas Rode, this is a Rode pod mic, and sounds really, really good because it goes through a cable to an interface that's slightly away from it. Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you need something right now to do a podcast with right now, and it needs to be simple and get it right now, it might be exactly what you need. But if you can stretch to a microphone and an interface, even if it's like an Audient ID4 or something, then I think you'll have a much better result and a much better time. So, what else have we got? Have you tried Ninjam with some friends? I've not used Ninjam in years. I tried to use Ninjam back when I was at university, when it was still quite new, and the stress levels involved were absolutely volcanic in trying to get it just to work properly. Yeah. So, yeah,
it's a long time ago, though, now, Adam. You're an old man.
Yeah, but Ninjam itself hasn't changed, and I don't know anybody who uses it.
I'm sure the thing has changed in 20 years.
Maybe, but that's like, it's Ninjam is just like the communication protocol. So it's like MIDI's not changed in that time. I mean, if Ninjam's been improved, cool. But it's
Ninjam 3.0, don't you know?
Yeah. Were you not at the consortium meetings? Bleh.
Yeah. We changed the 356 to a 392, and it's made at least 20 dB of positive enhancements. God.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So, another question. This is a proper techie one. Have you done any work in live sound? If so, yes, I do quite a bit of live sound work, but not necessarily in the arena that you're asking this question. Do we prefer AES50 or D-Snake S-Link? That's a real techie question right there. I don't really know the D-Snake and S-Link stuff very well, but my gut instinct would be go with AES50 wherever you can. In fact, go with AES anything where you can. Because AES50 is the many channels over an Ethernet cable, which is what the X32 and the Behringer Wing use, amongst other things. And AES, the Audio Engineering Society, spend a lot of time with multiple companies sitting down in rooms and going, what do you guys want out of a protocol? What do you guys want? What are the problems that we're facing? How can we get around them? Why are you complaining about this thing? Is it relevant? And they have a roundtable and a proper discussion, and they really hash things out and try and cover every base. Whereas proprietary systems, a company can literally just write a book. One guy at a company can go, this is going to be the standard now. Writes book, finishes book, go. And that can potentially, and it is potential, it can potentially cause problems years down the line that nobody thought of. And proprietary systems tend to die on the vine after their life cycle as well. It's something that I've definitely found. Like, going all the way back to like T-diff and S-diff and these really old formats that nobody uses anymore. And there were just massive limitations. Whereas the that's thrown me off in chat. That's funny. Yeah, generally stuff that's made by the AAS doesn't have the flashiest, newest extra thing in, but it's going to be rock solid for many years to come, and is going to be forward compatible, because I reckon that AES 50, because I think it takes 32 channels over a single cable at 48K. It might even be 64, I can't remember. But a lot of digital snake boxes now will be on a stage and they'll use one cable. And
I can't quite read that. Is someone looking for Boulevard of Broken Dreams?
Yeah, can I request a song called Boulevard of Broken Dreams? This isn't karaoke, my friend.
We're not a radio station either.
I mean, I've got the boom arm and the nice broadcast mic, so it could be a radio station.
Or maybe he thinks it's one of those things where like you sing a verse, then I sing a verse, then you sing a verse.
I've been having dreams. I've been having dreams. I really don't like that advert. I get that about 4 times a day. But yeah. I am actually on a relevant thing. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on my friend Danny Quinn's stream, playing guitar and singing a little bit. Partly as a tech test for him, because we're doing funnily enough, talking about live sound, the bars in Bury and Rottenstall where I do a lot of their live sound, Blind Tiger, we're doing kind of like a night in tomorrow night on their Facebook page, and I'm helping to do some of the tech for that, remotely of course, which makes it all the more awkward, where we're trying to get people, artists that we know, to play short sets. And so Danny Quinn's going to be the organizer, so we're doing a tech test on his channel before we go live on the main Blind Tiger channels, and it's going to be interesting making all that work in terms of routing and forwarding video on, and that's going to be
fun times.
Yes, fun times indeed. It'll keep me
Twitch
busy.
Twitch did it the other night. They had like huge artists on it.
Yeah, but
like Rihanna level, like it was mental.
They had Rihanna on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sure it was. Like literally, it was like a who's who of music around the world. It was on for like 8 hours, and they had like. It's actually going to the news because that was awesome.
It was the new version of MTV Cribs. It was like, here's my house. You're all gonna see it for 3 seconds. Now I'm gonna sing. No.
Yeah, Stream Aid it was called. H.A. Mitchell, All Time Low, loads of people. Biffy Clyro. God, it's really bad website. But that's just under the seas.
Twitch Stream Aid.
Ellie Goulding.
Oh, good God. That's lots. I'm going to switch screen.
Yeah, it was huge.
So,
it went on for hours and hours.
Yeah, but this many...
Rita Ora. Yeah. John Legend.
This many people on there.
Steve Aoki.
Everybody must have done like a song or two.
Yeah, they did. They just did a song, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I watched the Shaggy one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was brilliant. They raised a load of money as well.
Right.
But yeah, it was on for hours and hours. I left it on when I went to bed, hoping that any ad revenue they'd obviously get from it.
Lady Antebellum, they're cool. There's more than one artist on here that I've heard of. That's impressive.
Because I mean, like getting Biffy Clyro to do a set probably cost you about $1 million. So
Yeah, but they all live in the same house, surely.
yeah,
That's the only way that they could make this work.
yeah. Oh, I don't know. You see the Backstreet Boys thing?
Yes, that was amazing. Yeah, I was so happy when I saw that. I didn't expect it, I think was the main thing.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, let's just find that and just play a little clip without the sound. Street Boys. There we go. So yeah, definitely not playing the audio for this. I apologize. He says. There we go. But yeah, you can see that they're all in their houses. And the only thing that weirded me out is that Brian, when he's singing, looks like his face has been plastered to his ears. He's singing with a persistent smile that just says, "Help me, oh God, what have I done?"
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah, when he's singing, and Nick Carter looks like he's had a little bit of work done as well. And someone's holding the camera in that proper MTV Cribs slightly wobbly style as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, is it Kevin? The old one with the big goatee. Is that Kevin?
I can't say that I'm too au fait with all their names.
It's bringing some stuff back because there's Nick, there's B-Rock, there's AJ, there's Howie, and I think it's Kevin. Kevin!
A true fan, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, ladies. I've got the Backstreet Back album somewhere on CD.
Oh, I never bought the album.
It's the Canadian release as well, which has only got certain import tracks on that you can't get. This is real, like, guilty pleasure right here. You've gone oddly silent on me.
Yeah, it is a guilty pleasure. Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
To be fair, the reason I've got the Canadian edition is that I was in Canada and was given it as a gift.
In Canada.
I was in Canada.
So, talking about one of the greatest songs of all time, what is, going to the question that you left to last,
yes,
the first mix you were ever proud of?
Yeah. So that's a real interesting question. So, yeah, can you tell the story of the first mix you were proud of? Because that's that's a question I could answer 10 different ways.
I'll answer my one quickly. It was my mate's band. I think I've told this part of the story before. I had to basically make up an audio recording computer on my PC when I was like 14, using literally an 8-track, as in the old 8-track player mic, and actually using that as a preamp in a really weird way, which made no sense and didn't work, to record a kind of comedy metal band that I got working on my Sound Blaster ZX 7.1 surround sound to sound amazing, and I was super proud of it. That's the first time I was proud of a mix. The first time I was devastated by how shit a mix was when I took that mix to the car.
Oh, the old car test.
And it sounded awful. And then I got that right. And then what I didn't realize is I had no idea about even like what frequencies really were. Even like I was really like full on noob, no internet, like didn't know what the fuck I was doing, just winging it on the fly. Listen to it on like back in those days you'd have the really small CD players, like the portable CD players that everyone had in their bedroom. Listen to it on one of those.
Hello? Listening to it on one of those has stopped Liam from working, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you hear me?
There we go. You dropped out there.
Yeah. It just sounded. It didn't even sound like the same song. It sounded horrific. So yeah, that was that mix. I was proud of it for all but probably a day.
You became astutely aware of how getting too deep into a mix means that you don't kind of notice what's going on. I've had that far too many times. And also that good monitoring can give you a very distorted view of what's actually happening. Yeah, I've had all of that and more many times. Many times. I remember making songs when I was probably the same age, maybe a year younger, and listening to him back, going, "Yeah, this is great," and then the next day going, "Oh dear, oh dear." But yeah, mix that I was properly proud of that stuck. It is very difficult to say the first one, but one that sticks out the most clearly in my mind is probably the Minutes to Recover album. Actually, that's the one that I was the most proud of, that I could walk away and even now stands up. Because I spent a lot of time on that. We recorded their album. It wasn't the first album we'd ever recorded, but we put a lot of time into it and a lot of pre-production with that band. And
Yeah, because that's when we had the label. So I think that's the difference as well. There's a difference between doing a mix for a client and doing a mix for yourself.
Yeah.
On something. Like we had a band, so we had the time, like I'm saying, to do pre-production, plan with them. Same with APY and same with Mayseto, as they finally became, where we spent a lot of time with all three of those bands to kind of try and work on what sounds might work well, record a track, try it a few different ways, mix it one way. Like, it was fun.
So yeah, it might have been, yeah, the song Stereo Hype. We spent months, well, recording that whole album and really getting the best out of those guys, but we had no like $1 million studio amps at that time. We had no $1 million studio drums or even recording room at that time, because we just moved and we had to record it all on electronic drums to get proper performances. We recorded the vocals in a bedroom with blankets and cushions and mattresses on the walls to deaden it. And we spent a long time trying to get virtual amps to sound like they belonged and that kind of thing. And it was the kind of thing where I remember clearly that Mix 7 was the one that I could play on different settings and it sounded okay. And then Mix 14 was when I found that I'd kind of cracked it. And that wasn't even the end of it. I think it went on to about Mix 18 or 19 before we went through 7 masters on that album. And then it took months. And that's not an exaggeration. It took months. But when it was done, I could play it on anybody's system. And it wasn't the best album I'd ever heard. But it was something that I could listen to that would stand up. And I wasn't going red-faced with shame and embarrassment. And I could just go, yeah, I made that. And that, I think, for me, was the first time I was properly proud of a mix. It might have been a Poetic Yesterday was the first time that I was properly proud of a mix, but that's the one that stands out in my mind the clearest. Yeah. So
good stuff.
Yes.
All good times.
Absolutely.
All good times.
And yes, if you want to go back over the last couple of weeks of streams, if you've not been watching me doing the live stream mixes, the pop punk one from last week was one of the songs from that very album. So, yeah, I mean, in hindsight, being a 10-year-on engineer, it definitely sounds better now, but it didn't sound bad then. Yeah.
I concur, my friend. I concur.
Yes.
On that poetic note of yesterday, shall we say goodbye?
I think we should. Got lots of preparations to do for tomorrow. Preparations A through G failed. So now I must do preparation H.
God. Oh yeah, on that note, I'm definitely going.
Yes. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We never did the intro video.
Just hanging out.
Yeah. So we will see you same bat time, same bat channel, 8 p.m. next week.
Well, actually, shall we? Sorry to interrupt. Shall we start it? I know we started late today. But shall we actually say that we'll be 8:10 because obviously in the UK, there's this whole like clapping the NHS thing that's on at 8. And I feel like it's not a good time. It's kind of slightly disrespectful to start it at the same time.
Is that every week?
I think so.
Oh, right. Because it's funny, the first time I heard anything about it was last week after we'd gone live. Someone mentioned it.
Yeah, me too. I'd heard it was going to be a time. I didn't know it was last Thursday. And then part of the reason why I was here is wife's taking the dogs out, and we were slightly joining in because we've just got a window there rather than going to the front door. But yeah, I think it would be respectful to, even like, just in case, let's say, to start at 10 past 8.
Sure. We're probably going to start at 8:10. If not, it'll be 8:15.
Or we could start at 8 and clap for 5 minutes at the start of the stream.
That would be the weirdest thing listening to it a year on. Be like, what?
Right.
We just go live and it's just for 5 minutes. Yes. So yes, I'm going to go back to playing MapleStory and Star Trek Fleet Command and procrastinating and not actually doing any work.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.